Hello and welcome everyone to Quick Album Reviews. I'm the loyal one, CJ Middle, and today I'm sticking with Those Once Loyal by Bolt Thrower. If you're unfamiliar with Bolt Thrower, you should be ashamed of yourself, unless you don't like death metal, in which case, less shameful. Now, Bolt Thrower is considered by many to be one of the best underrated bands in death metal, and this is mainly due to the band's philosophy, which consists of them believing that each album they release needs to be on par with the previous one before it. I'm not sure how that worked though with their first album because there was nothing before it, but that's besides the point. Now I know some people are against this mentality because it means longer periods of time between albums, but for me, I can appreciate a band who holds themselves to a standard and know the fans don't want a crappy, rushed album. And this has resulted in their discography being very good, and you can really just pick any album at random and it's gonna be good. I mean, they really don't have any bad albums. Just randomly pick one, I just randomly picked this one, and what do you know? It was really good. Those Once Loyal was released in 2005, and this is Bolt Thrower's last album before breaking up, and what a great album to finish on. It features the return of Carl Willits, the original vocalist, because he left a few years prior because he wanted to go back to college to get his degree in something. I'm actually not sure what it was. But he eventually returned to make this album, and thank God he did. Not that I've heard any other albums with the other vocalist, whose name is escaping me. The only other album I've heard by Bolt Thrower was Realms of Chaos, which is considered by many to be the apex Bolt Thrower album. And now that I'm talking about Realms of Chaos, I need to go back and listen to it because if I recall, it was really good. But we're not talking about that one, maybe eventually, but we're referring to this album. So this album is death metal, duh, but it's very groovy death metal. I mean, you can especially hear the grooviness in the riffs, which by the way are all excellent. They just have that headbanging groove to them, and it's really fucking awesome. And the other thing you'll also notice about this album is the bass guitar. The bass guitar is honestly on the same level of volume as the regular lead guitar, and it adds just a fat tone to the music, and it really showcases the importance of bass, especially in death metal. And the overall production of this album is just really good overall. I mean, everything is clear, but it still sounds heavy and feels like death metal, if that makes sense. The lyrical theme of Bolt Thrower revolves usually around war and things of that nature, and blah, 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 blah. And I have to really say, Carl's vocals really fit that theme. I really can't explain it, how or why, but they just do, and it really just fits the band's sound, too. I mean, everything about Bolt Thrower, like all the band members, just really come together, and it just sounds really good. Now, Bolt Thrower isn't like Obituary, Deicide, or any of those other old-school death metal bands. They're kind of their own thing, and it's really good stuff. I mean, they're not the heaviest death metal band, or even the most brutal. They kind of sit in the middle, in a sense, if that does make sense. And there's really nothing wrong with that, either. A lot of bands think they have to be the heaviest, fastest, most brutal death metal band in order to be good, but they don't have to, and I think Bolt Thrower really proves that point. So if you are not familiar with Bolt Thrower or this album, you need to become acquainted with this album and the band, especially if you're into death metal, because Bolt Thrower does death metal right. I will eventually get to the other Bolt Thrower albums, but for now, this album gets a 10 out of 10 for me. It's a really good album, and it has become one of my personal favorites of all time, so that probably carries no weight to any of you, but I don't know. The point is, it's a really good album. Anyways, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Hope you're all having a great day. Hopefully you're all still alive from 4th of July and you didn't lose any fingers or limbs, because if you did, well, then that's your own fault. All right, everyone, have a fantastic day.